Hi, I'm here with Megan. We're doing the next in the series of getting to know our staff and volunteers. We're here with Lorraine and Christine today. So, Lorraine and Chris, do you want to just tell us what you do with changes at the minute and how you started getting involved with changes? Lorraine, do you want to go
first, Christine?
Let me go first, okay. That's Lorraine, she's my boss and she's always passing the buck. I first got involved with changes as a service user 2.5 years ago, roughly, when I had a mental breakdown. I did have other support in other places, but for me, changes sort of kept me going week by week by week by week. And even now, as far as I'm concerned, changes will always be in my life because that's the support I need. I'm in maintenance, which is a good place to be, but I am aware I could have low moments. So for me, changes stops those low moments dropping. And that's why I love changes. And I do have a brilliant boss, I must admit, make her head swell.
What is your role at the moment?
To be honest with you, bit of everything. We went on lockdown a week and a half after I started. And my job description sort of went out the window, but I do everything from peer support meetings, supporting coordinators, service users. If staff were there needing help, I'd be there as well. So basically, it's about promoting the service, helping anybody who needs the help, signposting. When we can do social, some of that will be involved, but at the moment that's a bit limited. Really, it's just I will do anything if I think it'll help someone.
Okay. Lorraine.
So I came to Changes in 2002 as a service user and was lucky enough to get employment in 2006. So that was quite a while ago. Various jobs throughout Changes, but now I'm the adult services manager and look after all the peer support groups and volunteers.
Very short and succinct, thank you. Okay. Okay, Megan, have you got any questions?
Yes, so Lorraine, I'm going to come to you first and let Christine have a bit of time to mull it over. So we're going to go to some more kind of light-hearted questions. What have you been doing to keep yourself busy during lockdown?
Well, I'm going to have to say a lot of work, but I have done a lot of work because obviously when we went into lockdown, it was quickly, let's try and figure out how we could carry on with the service in a completely different way than we'd ever done before. So we had to learn lots of different skills. We also had to support the members in different ways than we did before, and also the volunteers. So we've all learnt different ways. Working at home was difficult to start with at the beginning because I couldn't find a stop between working in my living room at my office desk and living in my living room. So now I have to put things in place. I remove the table when I finish work on a Friday and it doesn't come back until Monday. But on the positive side, I have had more time to be a bit more organised at home. So the difference in travelling has given me a little bit more time to sort of prepare tea and things like that. So things I never did before, I left that to the husband. But he's quite grateful that I'm working from home.
I bet he is. Right, Chris.
Making cakes.
Okay.
We're making lots of cakes, yeah.
What kind of cakes?
All sorts. Lemon drizzle. I did cookies for the girls. I've done muffins. All sorts, really.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, it's making me hungry.
Very nice.
I wish
Very
Jackie
nice, yeah.
would bake. She never bakes anything.
Ask her to. Ask her to bake.
She won't. We'd come rolling out of lockdown. Wouldn't be right. Christine, then, what about you? What have you been doing to keep yourself busy during lockdown?
Well, for me, because I live on my own, I haven't got worried too much about if I went anywhere and brought it back home. I won't infect anybody with COVID if I did get it, so that's a good thing for me. I do have quite a few people in my family that are quite vulnerable, So that's always been in the back of my mind. I need to be careful. And because we work with vulnerable people as well, if I did come in contact with them, I am aware about being careful. And I think I'm more aware than a lot of people because I did 20 years in the care sector. I've been on lockdown before, but on a smaller scale. So I do know what to expect, really. You know, it's a bit automatic to me. I'm working from home, and like Lorraine says, we have had a lot of work to do. A lot of my work has been one-to-one phone calls, phone support, doing peer support online, so I've coordinated as well. Some of that has been evening and weekend work, which I don't mind. If I work outside my work hours, I just put it down to volunteer hours, because at the minute, we can't sort of level off and say that's where we stop. So it's about juggling the time I have, which I think I'm doing all right with that. Simple things for me that help is just something as simple as going for a picnic with my sister. It wasn't one we planned. We did plan go shopping, but couldn't get the things I wanted. And because I can't go window shopping like I would normally, we decided go get some food. And we went to find some grass with some trees, nice view, and we just had a spontaneous picnic, which for me was a real good mood lifter. So it's things like that for me, you know, not going out to restaurants and stuff. I can't drink alcohol anyway. I have intolerance to it these days. So it's just a case of enjoying the company I'm with and trying to get out more, actually. I do miss walking, because I used to walk work and back. That was my exercise. I've walked since I was little, so I still like doing it now, but it has been more difficult over lockdown. And I've had to be aware, even though I'm in a good place mentally, because I'm on my own, so I'm at home all day on my own, I just try to be more aware that my mood could slip. But I always know I can either talk to Lorraine or Steve, who we work with, anybody really, and changes, you know, when I can, you know, I'm having a bit of a rubbish time or my mood's going low. And a lot of the time people have suggested to me, what about this, what about that, and I took that into consideration. So I don't think I'm doing too bad, but I am aware people aren't in the same set place as me if they are living on their own, because some people do contend with loneliness, which for me, I've been extremely lucky. I don't get lonely. I can get bored, which I have to be careful of, but I don't get the loneliness.
Brilliant, thank you. Okay, so another question. I'll come back to you, Lorraine. Have you watched anything amazing during lockdown? A film, series, anything?
I like a lot of real things. I like, so I've been watching things like Reported Missing, and I like Shoplifters at War. I like hospital dramas, those sort of things. I'm watching something called Good Girls on Netflix at the minute. And it's something that me and my husband are doing together. We never normally do things like that, but I started watching it and he just interrupted me on like the third episode, so he's now sticking with it with me. So we're trying to take some time every couple of evenings to watch a couple of episodes of that. So that's something different for me. It's not something I enjoy normally. If I want to watch a film, I have to go to the pictures because my concentration just disappears. But that is a good one. I'm on the second season.
And what's it about?
Three ladies that do quite a lot of criminal activity. It's quite funny in places. It's just good, and it keeps you wanting to watch the next one.
Yeah, I like ones that you get addicted to and you just want to binge.
Yeah.
And do you ever snake each other out and watch an episode without each other?
Yes.
Who's the snake?
Usually me. It's usually something like I like watching Casualty and things like that. So sometimes he's not home because he works shifts, and I want to watch it when it's actually on. So I'll watch it, and then he'll say, "Did you watch this?" I'm like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Oh." Then he has to catch up on it. But you know, he also tends to sit up later at night than me, so he's quite happy to stay up till 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning and watch telly. I can't do that.
No, he can catch up then, can't he?
Yeah, he can do it on his own time.
Right, Christine, have you watched anything really good during lockdown?
I'm not really a big watcher of films, television these days or anything, but I do like documentaries, anything to do with David Attenborough, and I will watch it. You know, I do love that sort of thing. Like Lorraine, I like true life events. There are a couple of things on the TV, but I'm also into, I mean, this might be boring for some people, but I do watch it. It's about old derelict buildings that have been made years ago, you know, 100 years or more or longer. And now there's been disasters because in those days the concrete or the metal wasn't strong enough to take the weight of anything. And so it's collapsed or it's ruined places, etc., which I find really fascinating, you know. I think the last film I watched was P.S. I Love You. Oh, and it broke my heart. I don't cry easy, but I couldn't watch it again, be honest with you. Once I can't do another one. And I think the time before that I cried at a film was, you might not remember this, Megan, it was years and years ago, The Champ. About a boxer who wants to do one more fight to be able to look after his son. And the outcome's not good, shall we say.
Oh, God.
And I always remember going home on the bus, crying my eyes out with my sisters, and the busman said, "Oh my gosh, you've been watching The Champ, haven't you?" Because everybody came out of it crying. Yeah.
Have you watched The Notebook?
Now, which one's that? Is that about in the 50s, Southern? Yes, I am.
Oh my God. I've watched it about
Really
17
good.
times. I cry every time.
Yeah, it was a bit cringing in places. I thought, how can one person do that to another?
So
You know.
Mm.
Right. Okay, so have you got...
Can I just jump in with just a follow on with Christine?
Yeah.
Christine, as we were talking before we started filming, you say you like to watch serial killer documentaries.
Yeah.
I won't say who's your favourite serial killer, that's a bad phrasing. Which is a serial killer that I suppose fascinates you more than the others, or intrigues you more?
I think Ted Bundy,
100%.
because I was only young when that happened. And you wouldn't think to look at him that he'd do that sort of thing, but, you know, it's quite sickening what he did, yeah. And it's about how, even in years ago, when there was no DNA testing and stuff like that, it's about how they can identify them years later and they get punished for what they've actually done to someone.
Yeah, like the Golden State Killer, haven't they, about 30, 40 years after.
And I can remember the Yorkshire Ripper as well. You know, that was this country. And it was quite scary. And you thought it was just that he'd aimed for a certain type of person. And then suddenly a young 16-year-old student was one of his victims. And it was quite scary because it was quite near my age then. You know, even though it was in another part of the country, it's quite frightening. So I don't know if that's made me have the fascination with them, but the part where they try investigate and make the convictions, make sure they've got right rules in place and the right evidence, to sort of get their man, if you like, is what I find interesting. You know, maybe in another life I would have been what do they call them, you know, when they investigate and stuff?
I thought you were going to say serial killer then.
No, definitely haven't got that in me. Ooh, no.
While we're on it, Chris, who's your favourite serial killer?
Probably have to go back to the old favourite, Jack the Ripper, really. It's all the theories that sprouted up around him, quite fascinating. And the fact that we will never, ever, ever know the answer to that one. But again, you've got all your other, not just serial killers, it's some of the, like Manson, obviously he never actually physically killed anybody himself, but what he spawned up around him. It's just that cult personality and what they can get away with to a degree. It's quite fascinating, really.
Have you got one, Lorraine?
No.
No.
I have not.
Mine's Ted Bundy, 100%. It's hilarious. Not hilarious, but okay, let's just edit that out. Not hilarious. But I mean, he was quite cocky, wasn't he? And charming, which is quite backward for I don't know, is it? Anyway, we're getting distracted. Hobbies. Do you have any hobbies that nobody would know about? We'll come to you, Christine.
Oh gosh. I think one of the things that when I had my breakdown is I'd forgotten about looking after myself, and I think my hobbies went wayside. You know, I just forgot about them. If I was fit enough now, I would still be playing squash because that's what I used to play years ago. I used to love it. I've got arthritis now, so I haven't got the physical capability to do it anymore. But that was my favourite sport.
Squash.
Sometimes when I say it, people are a bit surprised, you know. All my sports were sort of ball games, you know, rounders, netball, etc., which I'm not fit enough now, I must admit, I can't do. But I would have liked to have carried on. I am an avid reader, anything from thrillers to true life to... There are romances. I'm not very romantic, but romance, if it's got a good story to it. Anything read's got to have a good story.
Yeah. Well,
Any
lovely.
favourite
What about
author,
you?
Christine?
Sorry?
Any favourite authors? Or what are you reading at the moment?
Oh, gosh. I'm rubbish with names. But Nora Roberts, she's one of the most, I would say, she's the most successful in the world. At one time she had, I think it was 400 million books sold, because she goes across different genres. She's always got a good story there, and it can be anything from romance to supernatural to thrillers, etc. She just writes across the different board.
Yeah, I recognise the name, but I've never read
Yeah.
anything.
I think I have. No. Lorraine, what about you? Have you got any hobbies?
I haven't got many hobbies. I do like reading, but I really struggle to read anything that's not true. So I like all the non-fiction. I like a good story. I can read some things that aren't true, but they have to really sort of grab me, or else I give up with it. Sort of 6 or 7 pages, and if it hasn't got me, then I'm done. But yeah, real books, I do like those. I like a lot of games on my phone. I'm sort of addicted to things like Scrabble and
Oh, God.
other things like that. Coin Master, I get quite angry on Coin Master. But yeah, that's more me. I like things like that. And the other thing is just holidays. I love going away. It's my thing, my
You
passion.
go away quite a bit, don't you?
I try. COVID hasn't helped me much. But yeah, I'm trying.
What about bingo?
I like bingo. And I was thinking I was going to go and try to go back because it opened again this month, but I'm just too scared, really, I think. I wanted to go out for like a meal with the family, and I wanted to do this eat out thing, but I just don't know if I'm brave enough to go and do it.
So have you not been going out?
No, we went out for one meal about 2 weeks ago, I think, and I did feel really uncomfortable being out. And we'd only gone for a carvery, but people sat quite close to where we were, and I was surprised at that because it's quite a big place we went to. So no, I'm not in any rush to do that again. So no, not bingo yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. In time.
In time. Oh, yes. Back to the gambling. Bingo. Right. Have you got any pets? If so, who? Lorraine.
I have one dog that has left home at the minute. She's been gone.
She came home for the weekend, didn't she?
Yeah, she's been gone since March.
She has not.
She on and off. She's been gone since March.
Yeah.
Yeah. If she comes back to visit, sometimes I think she knows that the treat box has been filled up, so she comes for that. She likes to come on a Sunday because there's usually a little bit of beef or chicken or something in a bowl. So she likes to come back for that. She comes for a bit of a tickle, but then she'd prefer be with Chris because he walks her every day and miles, and she enjoys that.
Just
Can I have a flash of it?
No, this is who we're talking about.
Yeah, so that's my dog, the upside down broken dog.
Silly.
Silly.
She quite likes to be upside down a lot of the time. And then I have 2 guinea pigs, which are my daughter's guinea pigs, and they are Luna and Sandy. And
Luna.
I think I look after them a little bit more than she does. I feed them every day, and they love Sunday because they have all the vegetable puff-offs. So they squeak every morning when I go in. I say, "Good morning, ladies," and they squeak at me.
Oh,
So yeah, that's me.
oh, lovely. What about you, Christine? Have you got any pets?
I haven't got any at the moment, but just before lockdown, I was going look for a dog. Well, it had to be put on hold. So I've got a Facebook page for the Bucknell Dogs Home. Keep having a little look on there, see what's, because I want a rescue dog.
Yeah.
Probably a mature one. Because I will be honest with you, I don't fancy house training again. I've done all that with my kids and other dogs and stuff. But when my kids were little, we had cockatiels, lovebirds, gerbils, hamsters, dogs, even spoon-fed a kitten once that was abandoned, which people think it's a bit surprising for me. We kept her for a long time. Fortunately, she got knocked over. But yeah, tiny little thing, and I was spoon feeding it every few hours.
Oh.
But yeah, we've had quite a lot. I'm on my own now, and I thought, well, you know, I'll have a bit of company and I'll give a dog a good home.
Oh, dogs are the best.
Still looking.
Oh, I'm sure you'll find the perfect dog. Oh, they're all perfect though, to be honest. Aren't they? Oh, I love dogs.
What role has music played in your life? How important is music, and what sort of music do you listen to? And Christine, if you want to go first.
Oh, right. When I was a teenager, it was always Motown, Dinah Ross and all that lot, you know. I've got quite broad spectrum. There are a few areas I don't like. It's according what mood I'm in as well. Queen is one of my favourites. I mean, some people won't have heard of you. I used to like, when I was younger, Godley and Cream, Bread, you know, a bit of Pink Floyd and that. I remember Mamma Mia and what's it? What is it called? I've forgotten now.
ABBA.
ABBA. I remember ABBA the first time round, yeah. I think one of my idols was David Essex. I don't know if you know that, Megan.
Yeah, I do actually.
Yeah, he was one of my favourites, yeah.
But I do need to think back. Did you say Bread?
Bread, it was a group, yeah.
Like the food, Bread?
Yeah, Bread.
There's one band called Cream as well.
All sorts of names years ago.
Cream?
Cream.
Mm-hmm.
Bread and Cream.
Like in cream, yes.
I don't know what to say.
Wow. These days, if you go sort of new, it's not exactly new, but Anastasia is one of my favourites. That sort of music I like as well, yeah. I mean, I'm not too proud to say I like Take That and them sort of things, you know. I like that music as well. I did say it was varied, so it's according what mood I'm in as well. I can lie across my sofa and just lie there and listen to music, but that'll be according to what mood I'm in.
And would you say music was one of your wellness tools?
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
What about you, Lorraine?
I like all sorts of music too. There's not many I don't like. I don't like heavy metal, that sort of bangy music. Don't do that. But I do like lots of different types. I like people like Celine Dion. I like Elton John. Loads of different ones, and I think different music is for different moods, isn't it? Some of it's uplifting, and I think sometimes when you're driving in the car, if you have something really uplifting, you do need to watch your speed, because you know you can go a little bit too fast. And then other times when you're just feeling quite low, you have to be careful what music you put on, because it can bring you a bit more down. But yeah, it is a wellness tool, and I think sometimes when I've been quite unwell, to have music actually coming through earphones actually into my ears rather than just being in the room is good, because it's sort of a blocker for those thoughts and things that are whizzing around your head you can't control. So it's a good wellness tool for me.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so can you think of a time in your life that you were really proud of yourself that you'd like to share with us?
Hmm.
I feel like you might need to think a minute for that one.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah.
Right. I was working in a care room once, and this woman come, and it was the first time ever being in care as a job. And she'd been with senior care, we used to call care assistants then. And she'd been with 2 senior care assistants, and she wasn't sure if she wanted to carry on with the job because she didn't think she liked it. And on the 3rd day, she came to work with me. And she stuck it out, and then after a while she said, "Chris, I'm not staying here, I'm going work in the community." And I said, "It's your choice what you want to do, you know, what you're comfy with." And then I saw her years later, she was going past me in the car, she stopped the car, peep, 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 and she got a friend in the car, and she said, "This is who I'm on about, this is who I'm on about." And I said, "What?" She says, "I've been telling about you, how good you were, and how I would have left if you hadn't taught me the right way to do care." And it's always stayed with me, because I made an impression on a person that the care sector can be a good place to work. It's about finding the right thing for you, but I've never forgot that she complimented on I helped her to find a career.
Oh, that's
So
lovely.
for me, that's always stuck with me.
That's a really nice one. Yeah. Lorraine, what about you?
I can't think that I've ever been proud of myself. I feel like maybe I've done things to sort of, I've always sort of said it's like sticking 2 fingers up to a service or a society that tells you have to do things a certain way. So sometimes when we get written off because of mental health or something, you can sort of think, right, well, that is the spur I need to make me move on. And that happened to me a few years ago. Sort of told to just go home, be a mum, that's all you're going to be. And that wasn't enough for me. I love being a mum and I love being a nanny now, but and it's very important to me to be that role, but I needed something else for me. And so I went against what I was told and went and took a job. It wasn't this job, it was a different job before this. But that was the start of me getting better. And so I feel like maybe I should have been proud of myself at going against that write-off. I don't feel proud about it, but I just think that that's perhaps the time when I should have been maybe proud about doing that. So that's it really.
You have loads of things to be proud of.
Can I say something that you should be proud of, Lorraine? And she didn't know I was going to say this. She has made it so easy to work for changes. I've settled in really well. And it's like, I don't know if it's sort of coming home or something like that, but she's made it so easy to fit in, and, you know, I can ask her anything, you know. I keep saying I'm a sidekick, and she gives me all the dirty jobs, but it's just a joke, really. But she could ask me anything, and I'd say yes, because she treats me with so much respect. You know, for me, respect is a big thing. So
We're a good team.
That's something you should be proud of.
We are a good team.
Oh, that does make me feel warm, fuzzy.
When I first started working for changes, to say you were always there and you always helped me.
Thank you.
There was obviously, it's hard working for changes at times. We love it, but it's hard at times. And unless you've got that support there, it'd be almost impossible to carry on. And say you were always there to support me as well.
And we've actually got more than we had when Chris was a volunteer, because we used to be in a much smaller office and Chris had to share half a desk with me. So he would be propped on the other end of the desk and I'd be this end of the desk. And that's all the space we'd got. So we're very lucky with what we've got now. But back then we just had to just squash in with the space we'd got.
So I think that's made it evident. There's a million things you should be really proud of.
I think it's seeing it for yourself though, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah, 100%. It's a lot harder, isn't it? People can tell you till they're blue in the face.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay, that was nice and warm and fuzzy. That made me really happy. So let's go to something a bit more, I was going to say a word then, and I always say it wrong, frivolous. Is that right?
Yeah. Go on, be frivolous.
What are you asking?
Oh no, I wanted to go off what you just said, Lorraine. What has it been like becoming a nanny?
Oh, I love it. I love being a nanny. I actually think I'm a better nanny than I ever was a mum. She gets away with things that my girls never got away with, definitely. And they do say to me, "You wouldn't let us do that," but she does. She's ace. I was there when she was born, which was a real privilege. Didn't like seeing my daughter in pain, but she did amazing when she gave birth to the baby. Fantastic. So I just love being a nanny, and I love that she comes and spends weekends with us sometimes. And I can't believe she's 1 next week. It's just...
She isn't.
Yeah, next Tuesday, she's 1. It's just madness. I don't know how it's happened. But yeah, she's 1.
Wow. And for everybody watching, she is honestly the most perfect, cutest baby you've ever seen in your life.
She is amazing.
She was like a doll when she was born, wasn't she? Like,
yeah,
perfect doll out of the shop.
Mm.
Okay, so when you were younger, what did you want to be when you grew up, Christine?
Now see, this is where a bit of sexism comes in. When I was 16 and I was ready to leave school, I come from the era where women had to do as they were told when I was growing up.
Oh.
I wanted to join the Wrens, that's the Women's Navy.
Ah.
And the careers officer was male. And when I told him, he said, "Don't be so stupid. You should be working in an office or a shop until you're old enough to get married and have kids." And that was my career's advice. A lot of people don't believe it these days. That was in the 70s. That's what I got told. As it was, I wouldn't have been able to go in because my mum, at 16, my mum would have had to sign and she wouldn't. She'd have been much too worried about me. And when I was 18 and I tried to go in, there was no jobs available because it's not like now where you can go for anything. The jobs were limited of what women could do. So, yeah.
Oh, that makes me back tense. I could just go back in a little time.
It happened.
It's disgusting, really, isn't it?
There you go. That's something to think about.
Yeah. Oh, God. That wasn't the answer.
What I can say is, if there's something you really want to do, don't let anything hold you back. As long as you don't hurt other people, tread on other people to get where you want, the world's your oyster, go for it.
100%. Lorraine, what about you?
So I think I wanted to be a vet when I was little. I grew up with the horses and things, and that just seemed like the natural thing. And I think it would have made my dad really happy not to pay vet's fees. So that was a bit of an incentive for me. But then I saw a horse being put down, and that was too much for me. So I knew it wasn't going to work. So later on, I decided I'd like to be something like a social worker or a prison officer. And my dad was very much against the prison officer role. And he'd had a bad experience with social workers. So that wasn't going to happen either. So I went to college. I wanted to work in care. Things along the way happened that I didn't manage to complete that course. And I ended up going straight into work. And I've worked sort of ever since then, really, in different places.
I didn't know you'd grown up with horses.
Yeah, still got them now. Well, I haven't got them, but my daughter and son-in-law have got some.
Never knew that. What kind of horses did you grow up with?
Horses?
Just all kinds of horses.
Just quite a few. My dad used to buy them and sell them, and he used to sell them quite often. And then I'd say in the summertime, I could just go riding, and within sort of a couple of hours, he'd buy a new horse, and I'd go riding. And then a few weeks later, I'd be like fed up with this, so then he'd sell it, and then so it just went like that.
And did you ride a lot? Do you still ride now, ever?
No. Too old now in case I fell off.
Yeah, you won't fall off.
Yeah. No, I stopped probably when I was teenager,
Mhm.
middle teens maybe.
Oh, horses are some of the most incredible animals, I think. They're so intelligent.
Yeah.
Oh, horses, amazing.
We talked about, let's say, Lorraine's done a lot of baking over the lockdown period and learn how to do cakes and rice puddings and this, that, and the other.
Oh.
What's your go-to comfort food? So I don't know, so Lorraine, if you want to go first.
So I love a Sunday dinner, and I like lots and lots of different vegetables. Can't stand cauliflower cheese. It makes me really sick. So I'm always the awkward one at the carvery asking for cauliflower with no cheese. And they do bring it most of the time. They do say they will do it for me. If it's just a snack or something, I'm quite happy with McDonald's or KFC. But I can't stand KFC's wedges. What they've done with their chips is terrible.
Why? What have they done?
They're like skinned on wedgie things instead of chips. So if I could have McDonald's chips and I have KFC's chicken, then I'm quite happy with that. But sometimes the husband complains when you ask him to go to 2 different takeaways. He does go reluctantly, but he does go.
Done a good job there.
Got him well trained, haven't you?
I'm very well trained, yeah.
Christine.
Me, pasta or rice dishes are my thing. Love pasta, I love rice. But I do have to be careful what's in a, if I have rice, if it was a chicken curry in that, I'm not like most people where I can have a full portion. I can eat as much rice as I want, but because I've added spices or whatever they put in things, I've got to be careful because I do have food intolerance. So if you had a full portion from a takeaway, I could only eat a quarter, but I could eat as much rice as I wanted. So rice and pasta dishes, I love. And on lockdown, I have sort of had cookie belly. I have put weight on and I couldn't stop eating cookies. And I've had to stop buying them because I can't stop. Once I've got a pack there, I just can't stop.
Once you pop, you can't stop.
Yeah, I think I put a stone on why I've been on lockdown.
I think everyone has. I think that's okay.
It's got it thrown me belly.
What's your favourite pasta dish?
Pasta bake.
What kind of bake? Like what in it?
I love it because it's got cheese on it. I love cheese. And I love cauliflower, but don't give me cauliflower cheese because I can't do the two together.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah.
Chris, do you like cauliflower cheese?
Not a fan, no. I like cauliflower, but again, with the sort of food that you'd be eating like on a Sunday lunch, I don't think cheese fits on a Sunday lunch. Doesn't go.
No, when you put the gravy over the cheese. Oh, God.
So you wouldn't eat chips, cheese and gravy?
Oh, no.
I know it's a studenty thing. I never did that in my student days. No, it's not.
Chips, cheese and gravy when you've had a drink is like heaven. Oh,
I can't do gravy on chips full stop. I don't know why. It's never been something I like.
Oh, that's lovely. Beans and cheese is wrong.
Cheesy beans. I like cheesy beans.
Oh, yeah, I can eat that.
No, wrong.
I have to be careful, but I can eat it. But I can't do the cheese and cauliflower bit.
I feel like cheese is wasted on you lot. Like, I try and be dairy free, but cheese in my head is like, you can put it on anything. Oh, you're making me hungry. Oh,
I like boiled onion. I did this the other night for tea. I just boiled onion, and then you grate cheese on top, and you grill the cheese onto.
Yeah, I used to love that.
That is amazing.
never heard of it, but it sounds like something I'd love. So you boil the whole onion.
Well, I did. I found out the next day I'm allergic to 8 onions.
8 onions?
Yeah, onions a food group for you, isn't it?
Yeah, I shouldn't really eat onions. They don't agree with me, but I love onion. So 8 onions boiled, and then you, when they're soft, you sort of spread them in a dish, grated cheese, grill it. Amazing.
That sounds like something
Yeah, I'm hungry. That was the favourite when I was younger. I haven't had it for ages.
And I would imagine when cheese wasn't so expensive, it would be quite a good a food to have for the family.
Yeah.
But now cheese is so expensive, then not so much.
It is, isn't it? It's not good for you. Don't get me going on dairy. Was there any meals that you had as a child that we don't have anymore now, like classics, like that?
Liver and onions.
Just going to say that.
Yeah, my mum used to do liver and onions for my dad, and I would happily eat some. But then when I went to work in Little Chef a few years later,
Oh, don't make me feel sick.
I cooked some liver and I put the knife in and it sprayed at me.
Oh no, no, I am tickled stomach when I think about things like that. I'll gag.
So me and liver and onions are done.
Good.
We're not friends anymore.
Okay, good.
I've stopped eating that one because I've got arthritis. I've been looking at ways to keep myself more healthy. I don't really want painkillers and stuff. But that's my personal choice at the minute. And one of the foods that they tell you not to have, because apparently when your joints are wearing, you can get particles that develop in your joints. And they say one of the things is things like liver. So even though I love liver and onions, I've stopped eating it to see if it'll help with my physical health.
Diet is a massive part of things like that, 100%. Oh, wow. Can you think of any more classics?
When I was younger, I didn't eat them myself. Maybe you might not think of anything like that. Pig's trotters, my father used to eat. Sheep's brain.
I thought the dogs ate that.
What's that other one?
Years ago.
What's that other one?
When I was young.
Tripe. Oh, that reminded me of flesh. I couldn't eat that.
My dad used to eat that with salt and vinegar on.
Yeah.
I don't know why I asked this question.
Sorry. My mind goes back a long way.
Tripe. Please explain to me what tripe is.
It's cow's stomach.
Oh,
I thought it was bladder, like sheep bladder.
No, it's not bladder. It might be sheep's stomach then.
It's the lining of a stomach, isn't it?
just make sure Dave Week doesn't watch this one back. Making me hot. No.
Oh,
To move on from that question. So, should we do 3 more? Honestly, I could gag. I could literally gag. I can't even think.
You did ask.
What are you looking forward to when life goes back to, not a new normal, but normal? What have you missed?
Holidays.
Holidays. Yeah.
Well, we missed the one in May. That was cancelled due to COVID. And we've got another one coming up in October, which could possibly be cancelled due to COVID. I'm hoping not. But half of me thinks, do I want to go away and worry about what could happen if we either get stuck out there or somebody gets sick out there? But we could get sick here, so I understand that. I'm not sort of planning to get sick. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that if it happens. Mm-hmm. But if it doesn't, then I'm planning in my head of what I could do here. So that really, I've missed that. I have missed going out with the family. The last time we went out was for my daughter's birthdays. They are both have birthdays in March, and the last meal out was their birthday meal. So it's been a long time since we've been out together. Mm-hmm. So I am missing that really.
Yeah. Have you been seeing them a lot?
Well, one lives with me, and one lives a couple of streets away. So yeah, I have seen her quite regular. But I think that just going out all together, just meeting up somewhere would be lovely. Mm-hmm. And with the baby's birthday next week, we wanted to do that, but it's just, I don't think it's possible really. Yeah. So we'll put it off till after.
It'll all come back right soon. What about you, Christine?
Well, the end of last year, I decided that I wasn't going to book any big holidays or anything like that. I was going to go sort of the different islands around Britain, you know, Isle of Man, Isle of Wight, try go Scotland and, you know, Outer Hebrides, etc., places like that. But with lockdown happening, it sort of got stopped. I haven't booked anything, so that was okay. And I thought I'm not even going to try this year now, I'll start again next year. So from January next year, I'm going to start having a look at different places I might be able to visit.
Oh, that sounds
So,
good.
you know,
That is a nice one.
something I'm thinking of looking forward to.
Mm.
Yeah. We have to focus on what to look forward to, don't we?
Mm.
What's your star signs? What's your star sign, Lorraine?
Mine's Libra.
Libra, nice and balanced. Do you believe in star signs?
I don't take much notice of them, but I do think, yeah, I'm the scales, and I do weigh things up a lot, sometimes a little bit too much. So yeah, that would make sense for me.
Libra. What about you, Christine? What are you?
Me, Leo the lion.
Ooh. And do you believe in star signs?
I used to read about them a fair bit when I was younger. I don't bother too much now. Some of it I've read, like it's supposed to be the leader, aren't they? Well, years ago you would never have got me being a leader. I was too shy. I suppose in a way I could do it now, but I don't sort of push myself forward, if you know what I mean. If somebody said, can you do me this, I really need it done, I would put myself out there.
Yeah.
You know, but it isn't something I think about, oh, I'm doing this because I'm in charge, sort of thing, you know. That's not me.
If there's any advice you could give your younger self, so say, I don't know, 20-year-old you, obviously not that long ago, but if you could give 20-year-old you some advice, what would it be, Lorraine?
Wow. At 20, I was just getting married. So I think I would have to. I don't know the answer. Hang on, let me think. Don't get married.
Turn around and run.
Run the other direction. I can't think of an answer yet. You have to go to
Christine. Can you think of one?
Say the question again. I was thinking and then I got sidetracked, sorry.
What advice would you give to 20-year-old you?
Oh, gosh. Don't let what other people say to you think you're to blame.
Good advice.
My dad had PTSD and he was not a nice person. There was a lot of verbal, mental and emotional abuse. And I thought, well, I don't deserve this life. And realistically, I hadn't. It was circumstances. My dad was ill and he wasn't a nice person. But after what I've been through myself, I understand, because he went through the Second World War and a few other things. So I understand more than people might think. Because someone said to me, why don't you hate him? And I said, because my mum taught me love. When I look back, I think he never really got the help he should have got.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah.
And hate only hurts the person who's doing the hating. So, you know, say, don't blame yourself for other people's actions.
That's, absolutely stellar advice. Have you thought of anything, Lorraine?
Yeah, I think probably don't stress about the smaller things in life. We get very het up with little things. I'm a redhead naturally, and I do sort of flip my lid a little bit sometimes over tiny things that don't really matter. So I think it's about that, really. Worry about the bigger things, worry about the things that are more important than just the socks on the bedroom floor, or, you know, the toilet lid that's been left up, or something like that, you know, the more important things.
Yeah, don't sweat the small stuff. I like that.
Yes.
How do you think lockdown is going to affect people's mental health / or mental health services? It's a bit of a big question. Christy?
I think it's going to overload the mental health services, to be honest with you, because it's not just a case of people having a mental breakdown or having a small piece of anxiety. I think it's going to be people sort of not panicking, but being nervous about going back to work. You know, it can cause anxiety, stress, and then it can cause other, you know, problems. I have IBS, and stress is a big factor. So physically, it could affect people.
Mm-hmm.
Going out to the shop, something as simple as we used to go shopping, can be nerve-wracking for some, especially when they've had to shield.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to take a while for people to get back. And I think everybody should try and support everybody, be honest, because we're all in it together.
Yeah, 100%. What about you, Lorraine?
I think it's affected a lot of people who don't have any mental health issues as well. A lot of people are lonely. Loads of people have said that they're just lonely. They just want to speak to somebody, and that's really sad to think that people are stuck, especially people who are shielding. So I think it has a big impact on a lot of people. We've got far more people coming through now than we did have pre-COVID. But again, we've had to change how we do things. So we never did one-to-one before. We never did phone support before. That is something we've had to put in place. So like Christine said, a lot of her daily work is one-to-one calls that she does on a weekly basis for people to keep them well. And just to know somebody cares, really. I'm hoping that when things start to go back to normal, obviously we've started to bring back face-to-face groups now, with all the sort of precautions in place that we're doing. But it's nice to see that people are coming back and asking to come back because they need that support. They've missed it so much. And they're very grateful when you ring and say, would you like to come back? You know, we've got a space for you. They're very, very grateful for that. So I'm hoping that we can support as many people as possible. And I know there's a lot of services that are not able to provide at the minute, and that's such a shame. But hopefully we can do what we can.
Yeah. And the final question, if somebody who is struggling with their mental health is watching now, what would you like to say to them? Christine.
Don't be too proud to ask for help. Anybody can have a mental health issue. It might be on a small scale, it might be on a large scale. But if you're feeling stress and anxiety or even a bit nervous and you're not sure how to deal with it, get in touch with somebody. Ask a family, somebody you trust, family, friend. You know, even if you're concerned about a child, speak to the teacher or anybody like that, you know, anybody who you think might help. And just ring places like Changes or anybody. If we can't help you, then we can signpost and stuff like that. So just don't be too proud and think you're on your own, because you're not. There is somebody out there that can help.
Yeah. Yeah, perfect. Lorraine?
Yeah, I'd say the same really. I'd ask people to just get in touch, whether it would be a phone call, a text, maybe getting in touch with us by email or Facebook. Yeah. And just ask the question, what support is there for them? What do they need? And then we can try and look at what we can provide. And if we can't provide something, like Christine says, we can tell them where there is other services. But really just make that first step. Just ask the question, can they get some help? And then we'll do what we can.
Yeah, lovely. Over to you, Chris.
Thank you, everybody, for your time. Lovely chatting to you. Hopefully we'll do something like this with you again in the short future.
Mm-hmm.
Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Bye.